Is it possible to make a game in only 20 minutes?
We go to the camera, come down, we should see another one was created. Yep. And it'll go on forever and ever and ever. Now, last thing we need to take care of is the cam. We have 4 minutes left. I'm gonna add the player. I'm gonna go over here, add the player to the cam script, and we should be good to go. Let's test this out. What?
But in order for this to make any sense, we have to take it from the start. Yo, mail time! Okay, so I only got one letter, and this is after I tweeted my P.O. box recently. You guys don't love me, and that's okay, alright? It's fine, I guess. But I just want to do a quick fan appreciation segment where I read this letter from Susie and give her some love. Why not? Let's just do that really fast before we start today's video.
Dear Jabriels, my name is Susie. I like you on YouTube. You're my favorite D-list celebrity.
Oh, how cute.
But what are you doing? I've challenged you in the comments of your last 10 videos to make a game in 20 minutes. You're not a scaredy cat, are you? Your friend, Susie.
What? Oh.
Oh, Susie, this means war. Now look, I absolutely hate doing those Super Crunch Game Jam challenges, but I've been teaching myself how to make games since I was 13 years old, and let me tell you, my ego is down bad right now from that call out. So today, we're gonna silence a 9-year-old hater and make a game in 20 minutes or less. Let's do this. All right, now I'm gonna let y'all in on an exclusive behind the scenes look on the game development industry. You ready? Don't share this with anyone, all right? Here is the ingredients to every video game you've ever played. About 30% of the time is dedicated to figuring out the idea for that game. 10% is dedicated to actually making the game. And that last 60%, well, that right there is dedicated to polishing the game. That just means like making it look pretty and whatnot. And I am not doing a bit right now. This is just pure facts. And so what I'm getting at is, if we want to make a game in 20 minutes, we can only start making this game when we figure out the idea. And the polish, you can just forget about polishing it. All right, now let's officially get started. I whipped out my pen and paper and started to sketch out ideas. And then after a few minutes, I landed on something good. Now my idea is really simple. So you play as a ball. Play as a ball inside of rotating circles, and gravity is pulling you down. And the goal of the game is to go from rotating circle to rotating circle, scoring points with every success. And yeah, that's the idea. It's pretty simple, right? Let's get to making it.
All right, so incredibly nervous, but I decided to go with the timer that's at the top. Once that hits 20 minutes, we will begin this. 20 minutes, all right, let's go. I'm gonna go over here to Photoshop and haul this out. I'm gonna duplicate this, invert, beautiful. I'm gonna color this in to be black on the mask, beautiful. It should bounce. It should bounce. Beautiful. Let's test this out. Yeah, sure. This works good enough for me. We want to time it just right so that we can get into that hole. Oops, I forgot about that parenting. Okay. All right. Cool. I can cheat. Look at this cheating. All right, good deal. So if we go to the camera, come down, we should see another one was created. Yep. And it'll go on forever and ever and ever. We should be good to go. Let's test this out. What? There it is. Okay, beautiful. Point. Yo, we're gods. We did it. 20 minutes. I'll take it. No. Game's done. All right, we shipped the game. It may not be like the most impressive game that we shipped.
And following this, I have to say I was feeling pretty accomplished. I ate some good food and then returned back to my laboratory to do a little polishing on the game so that I could release it. Alright, so the game is done. Like, it's done. I've spent a few hours polishing the game up, adding graphics, sound effects, stuff like that. But I just did like a whole 30-minute playtest, and it's not that fun as I thought it would be. Part of the reason is because you don't have a lot of control, which is something I didn't foresee happening. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll just add more inputs to the game. But that's not the answer. This game has to stay simple. It has 2 inputs already. That's already too many controls. So I have this idea. Bear with me, all right? Watch this. I think this game has finally found its purpose. My philosophy is, if you can make a game more like Flappy Bird, make the game more like Flappy Bird. And so I started to work on building out this new version of the game because it was not only more fun to play, but also more simplistic. I went from 2 inputs to just 1. But the biggest issue that I had was making it look good, which in my opinion for such a tiny game like this, it's all based on the story that you tell using your assets. When I decided that these spinning circles made the most sense being windmills, everything after that fell into place. Okay, so hear me out, alright? Our protagonist is a bird who is trying to make it to the top of this obscure infinite windmill thing by going through the fan blades for some weird reason, which is exactly why I'm titling this game Super Bird Blender. Listen, I'm not a cruel person, alright? This game is all about spreading windmill on bird hate crime awareness, alright? Help the birds. But anywho, I have a bit of a confession to make. I was meaning to do just a little bit of polishing on this game, but I've kind of become addicted to this project. Let me show you what I've done. Okay, so it's still basically the same game, but instead of going down, you go up, and it's now windmill themed. And I've changed the main character to be a bird. Beyond that, I just continue to work on the assets for the game, which by the way, this is the first 2D game that I've made in almost 10 years. Jeez. As well as running playtests to keep it at peak fun, and that's when I realized this game was a bit too easy. Kinda boring actually. The controls were kinda a little too good. You catch my drift? There was a lack of challenge, if you will. And so I made just one simple tweak that would change everything about how this game feels. You wanna hear it? Okay, here we go. If the bird is going up, the weight of the bird will always be 1. But if the bird is falling, increase how much the bird weighs by the speed it is falling. Oh yeah. This requires just a bit more skill to play this game. And after the first time playtesting this feature, I knew exactly what time it was. Rage game time, rage game time, rage game time, rage game time. And thankfully, my family was having a small get-together dinner, and I brought Super Bird Blender just to get some feedback. And a lot of people, well, I won't say enjoyed it, but at least felt compelled to prove themselves to not be the one to get the least amount of points. So I just got back from my family get-together, and I am honestly super surprised at how fun a game made in 20 minutes can be. And what's even more crazier to me is how addicted I am to making this game. It's crazy. I might mess around and change my opinion about those Super Crunch Game Jam games. But the feedback that I got was some of the obstacles were a bit too easy, which by the way, I added a bunch of variations to the windmill circles to make it a bit more challenging before I went to the get-together. And I actually agree with this feedback. So I quickly just changed those up to make that a bit more stimulating. And the other feedback that I got was that this game was just too hard. And you know what's interesting? I pretty much defended the difficulty of this game all night long, but that is until someone said, there are times when I feel I don't have control over the character. And that right there is any designer's worst nightmare to hear. You never want a player to be able to blame your controls on why they're not having fun. So what I want to do next is look more into balancing this out a little bit. The solution ended up being a mixture of changing the speed the game runs at and making the bird a bit more lighter when it's falling. And I think it's safe to say that it now feels like the player is fully in control, with perhaps just a bit of practice. All that was left now was to add a leaderboard, some ads so I don't have to take sponsors, I can continue to pay my bills, and finalize the graphics and UI. And real quick, I think this will be helpful for some of you guys. I am actually terrible at making 2D graphics. You don't believe me? Here's a 2D dust cloud that I try to make. Yikes. So when it came to making the grass, I didn't even kid myself. I just snatched up some art from opengameart.com. This was made by Flames1210. Accurate, because this asset sure is fire. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Then I just did the boring stuff for the asset store. That's like making the logo and getting some marketing assets, just final things like this. And the game is now live on the App Store. It's currently only available on Android at the moment, and this is because Apple requires for you to sign over your firstborn if you want to put your game up on their App Store, and it's just a huge headache. I didn't feel like dealing with it, but maybe I'll look into it a bit later. Comment down below if you want to see Super Bird Blender up on the Apple App Store. Also, if you get tired of seeing ads, or if you simply just want to support your guy, that's me, there's an ad-free version that you can play endlessly uninterrupted for only 99 cents. If you do it, know it supports this channel, and I can't thank you enough. And I also released the original version if you want to play that. All these links are in the description. And before I forget, thank you, drink water, sleep good.